Okay, good afternoon, guys. So today we're going to talk about intangible assets, and particularly we're going to solve two problems. Okay, so I have given you in advance yung materials natin. So hopefully now you have tried to solve it, and we will try to explain it in our PowerPoint how you should get the correct answer. Okay. Now, particularly, our first problem, okay? Our first problem, what we are being asked is to compute for the research and development expense for the current period. Okay? We were given the following data, okay? 1.5 million for the housing and building for R&D activities. Okay. Market research study, 1 million. Current period depreciation for R&D, 500,000. Salary of R&D director, 1.2 million. Salary of vice president, who allocates 1/4 of his time on research and development. Pension costs for both R&D director and vice president. Now, if you're going to look at this problem, the most effective way to answer this is like include or exclude. Okay, since we are being asked of the total expense that we are going to recognize for the period, only those items that relate to research and development will be considered. Okay? Now we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of these 7 items, which of the following are includable for research and development expense? Okay? Now, let's check every item. Okay? Now, let's check. First item, R&D activities, 1.5 million for depreciation of housing allocated for research and development activities. Is it include or exclude? Okay, this item is included. Okay, so we include 1.5 million. How about the cost of marketing or market research study? Okay, although nakita mo yung word na research, it is not automatically included in the research and development. Okay, why? Because before that, meron tayong nakalagay dyan, market. What does it mean pag market? Pag market, it means marketing. So, dapat ito ay marketing-related expenses. So, ibig sabihin, we do not include this under research and development. Okay? Next, current period depreciation on a machine used for R&D activities. Since it is being used for research and development, check, check, check. Salary of R&D director, since nakatutok to for R&D or research and development purposes, then therefore, again, we include. Salary of vice president, who spends 1/4 of his time for the R&D development, research and development activities. Do we include this one? Okay. Guys, be very particular of this item. Sabi kasi, only 1/4. If 1/4 time is being devoted, then therefore, the allocation of the expense should also be allocated 1/4. Okay? So, we have 2.4. Okay? We have 2.4. Let's divide it with with 4. So, magkano makukuha? So, dun sa 2.4 million, we only recognize 600,000. Okay? Did you get that? Okay. How about the pension cost for salary of R&D director and the vice president? What do we do with that? Okay. The salary R&D we also include. How about the pension cost for salary of vice president? Since 1/4 lang yung na-recognize natin dun sa salary niya, then therefore automatic, we can also assume that 1/4 lang rin yung i-consider natin for the pension of the salary of the vice president. Therefore, we have to divide it by 4, which will only total to 25,000. Okay? Now, ano nga uli yung tanong natin? We are being asked how much would be the R&D, research development expense for this period. Okay? So, let's add 1.5 million plus 500,000 plus 1.2 million plus 600,000 plus 50,000 plus 25,000. Total? So 1.5 plus 0.5 plus 1.2 plus 0.6 plus 0.075. Tama ba ang total natin? 3,875,000.
First blood.
Did you get it, guys? Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds to wrap up, to note kung ano yung mga namali mo. Okay? This is a simple problem, computing for research and development. So, ibig sabihin, if this is the cost of research and development activities, okay, this would be an outright expense for the period. Okay? Pero remember our discussion before, we have to know whether is this before or after the commercial commercial feasibility and technical feasibility. Okay? Kasi kung after na yan ng technical and commercial feasibility, then therefore, this would form part of the intangible asset. But since we are being asked magkano ang research and development expense and wala naman data regarding whether it is technically or commercially substantiated na siya or commercially feasible na siya, then therefore, this is the correct answer. 3,875,000. Okay? Now, let's go to the next problem. Okay? Okay, next problem. Okay. Now this time, we are being asked, okay, assuming that the trademark meets all of the applicable initial asset recognition criteria, the entity should recognize an asset in amount of K. So we are considering computing for the asset to be recognized. Okay? So ibig sabihin, ang assumption natin dito, these are uh, this data provided to us are the cost of purchasing or acquiring intangible asset. Okay? Now, wala masyadong issue dito whether there's technical or commercial feasibility since this is a purchase transaction. Okay? Now, if you will read, an entity purchases a trademark. So, dun pala nakita natin, the transaction is purchased. So, therefore, what we are being asked is what items should be capitalized in order to recognize that the intangible asset. Okay? Continue and incurs the following costs in connection with the trademark. Okay? So, first item, one-time trademark purchase price, amount of 100,000. Non-refundable taxes, 5,000. Training of sales personnel, use of the new trademark, that's 7,000. Research expenditures associated with the purchase of the trademark, 24,000. Legal costs to register, 10,500. And lastly, salaries of the administrative personnel, 12,000 pesos. Okay? Now again, one of the good or one of the best method to solve for this problem is, again, exclude or include. So, of these 6 items, what items are we going to include so that we could compute the correct amount of intangible assets that we are going to recognize in the balance sheet or in the recordings of the company? Okay? Now, first item, one-time trademark purchase price, automatic, nakita mo purchase price. This is the price that the entity paid for the trademark. So automatically, we include that amount, 100,000 include. Okay. How about non-refundable taxes? Okay. Please highlight the word non-refundable. Okay. Kasi kung refundable yan or hindi yan exact tax for the purchase, then therefore, hindi yan attributable for the intangible asset. However, dito kasi sinabi niya it's non-refundable, so it forms part of the intangible asset. So therefore, we include 5,000 pesos. Okay? How about the training of the sales personnel who are going to use the trademark? Okay. Again, please highlight training. Okay. Training and for sales personnel. So most likely, this expense is development of the manpower. So this could fall under sales training expenses or training expenses. So therefore, we do not include this amount. Okay? How about research expenditures associated with the purchase of the new trademark? Okay? So wala tayong research on this part. The question is, bakit? Okay? Now remember, we only engaged in purchasing the trademark itself. So therefore, the research expenditures associated with this would fall part to the normal expense. It's not really research. Okay? It's like just finding possible internet expense, or if there's a meetup, then representation expense, but not really to research about this new trademark. So therefore, we exclude the amount. Okay. How about the legal costs incurred to register the trademark? Okay. When we register the trademark, we have to pay sums of money, let's say sa Intellectual Property Right Office, or kung ano man office who facilitates the legalization of the trademark. Kapag sinabi natin we register it, ibig sabihin, we have the right to use and to give authorization to use a certain trademark, patent, or whatever intangible assets that we may have. Okay? So therefore, this is important. Okay? Not only to protect the trademark, patent, or whatever intangible asset, but this is the legal means so that the trademark will be honored and authorized for use for the benefit of the entity. So therefore, we include this amount. And lastly, we have salaries of administrative personnel amounting to 12,000. Salaries. Salaries siya for admin. Okay, so please highlight the admin. Okay. Admin. This is administrative expense. Nothing to do with intangible asset. So therefore, our treatment for this is an outright expense. Okay, so we have 3 items to consider. Okay, let's total 100 plus 5,000 plus 10,500. Total 115,500. Did you get that? Okay. Very easy, guys. You just have to know how to classify whether it is an expense or it is capitalizable for intangible asset. Okay. Now, please practice. No, if you have problems on books or you have handouts ready for answering, no, try to familiarize yourself on other terms that might be substantial for recognition of intangible assets. Okay. Now remember our discussion on the theory. Okay. Regarding dun sa technical feasibility and commercial feasibility. That is only applicable for if there is a research and development ang entity. However, if it's only a purchase, then you consider all the cost, okay, all the cost that is being paid so that the company or the entity can purchase a certain intangible asset, plus its registration. Okay? So with that, we conclude our discussion. Thank you, guys. Be safe, guys. Be safe. Okay?